Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. I hope everyone is having a fabulous Friday and that you have some fun plans for the weekend. My fun plans involve hopefully doing a lot of nothing. That's what I consider really fun. I was just telling Leah before we jumped on here that my son has a girlfriend, so he spends all of his time with her. So he's not around. My daughter actually is going on a team builder thing with her softball team this weekend. So I'm like, oh, I have a whole weekend just like, I don't know. I'm not even sure what I'm gonna do with myself, but I'm actually excited to just have it. Anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about though. I'm here with my client Leah, and I really wanted to bring Leah on because I have had the pleasure of working with Leah for almost an entire year in two different containers. Leah and I started our work together one-on-one, and then she joined the certification program about 5 months ago. We're almost complete. And I just wanted her to share a little bit about her journey over the last 5 months, and maybe even a little bit how it's, I don't say compares, but what she's gained from it in her experience. And I want to share Leah with all of you because she is really an incredible coach. She helps Enneagram 4s, but not really specifically just Enneagram 4. So if you're like, what the fuck is that? Do not worry. You don't need to know that. But she really helps people just align with their purpose, with their passion. And really a lot of what I have from my understanding, of course, I'll let Leah speak for herself in a moment, is really just creating themselves, right? Just creating that version of themselves that feels just so in alignment with who they are meant to really be. Is that pretty on spot, Leah?
Yeah. So I help people reinvent themselves and
reinvent. That was the word.
Yeah.
I was like, what's the word?
It's basically like, you know that you're meant for more and you just don't know how to do it, or you're trying to get after a goal and you can't get there. So it could be like really general of like, I really want to feel confident, or I really want to like, go on a talk show or something, but I feel like I'm introverted or whatever. All of these crazy beliefs that keep us from our big dreams. And we know that we're worth more, but we feel like stuck and really unfulfilled. I help you basically look at your identity, like your current beliefs about your identity, and really kind of just assess the like elasticity of your identity and talk about like who you would want to be and what's preventing you from being that. And we get all the details. We go very deep into identity, deep beliefs, thoughts, all sorts of stuff, mindset, somatics. Yeah, so basically, if you want to have a big change and you feel unfulfilled and stuck, that's who I help. And yeah, so I guess starting somewhere with Rachel. Yeah, I started out with her in like a one-to-one format, which is amazing. Rachel is an amazing coach. I am very picky about my coaches. And I feel like I can really, like, one of the things that I struggle with is confusing myself. And I feel like I'm very smart. My brain's very smart in the way
She is really smart,
does
guys.
that. So Rachel always like outthinks me basically, and outthinks or sees what my brain is trying to do, and it's like, here you are, like this is where you're screwing up. So I don't like continue to spin on something that's really basically pointless to spin on and waste years of my time. So that's, I think, my biggest like love about Rachel is that she's just an amazing coach. And yeah. You always pick up on things that I didn't know were there. So that was always helpful for sure in the one-to-one container. And then we moved on to the group container, and so now I'm in the group container, and there's just like all of the girls, women there are amazing, and it's really nice to just bond with a bunch of people and like realize like, oh, we're sharing the same thoughts, and we're not alone, or if someone brings something up and they're struggling with something and I don't think I even have that problem, the further it gets into it, it's like,
Mhm.
oh, yeah, I do have that problem and I'm going to apply it in different ways. So I guess it's just, yeah, different, but also kind of the same because you still have Rachel coaching you and finding all of those like hidden beliefs that are keeping you stuck. But I guess with group, you get like more of a sisterhood. You get like random ideas and random personalities that um, you can play off of and like coach each other and get testimonials and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Yeah. What would you say, Leah, has been like your favorite part of the group setting?
I think I honestly this is probably I just like I guess this I don't know how to describe it like the sisterhood. So it's just like the bonding of
Mhm.
you know what it is? It's like it's just being seen. So it's like almost the unshaming process of it, of like, oh, okay, this is really what I'm struggling with. And like, we always feel like we're the only ones struggling with it. And then everyone else is like, oh, God, like, thank you for saying that. Or like, we're struggling with the same thing. So instantly, like, as soon as you see that, you're kind of like, there's nothing wrong here.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's just an emotion. It's just like this belief that, you know, I was deluded in believing. And
Yeah.
it's not, yeah, there's nothing wrong here.
Yeah. I would, I mean, I would agree. I mean, I love the sisterhood too, honestly.
Yeah.
I always get so sad at the end of each group. But it's, yeah, there is something, because I've been in a lot of group containers too. There's something quite magical about, um, that commonness, that oneness that
Yeah.
we all can enable ourselves to experience when we open ourselves up to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what would you say has been like, I guess, how do I phrase it? I would just like the number one takeaway. Like, there's one thing right now that you're like, I'm taking from this and I will hold dear to my heart.
Um, I think it's one of the tools that you taught us. And I've heard this like in similar ways, but it was just like spun on its head and for some reason connected with me more is when we're talking about being the person that you want to be. And so like we were talking about like how do you feel right now basically like as a coach say like are you
Mhm.
confident, are you, you know, competent, do you feel like amazing being a coach? And we're all kind of like well we feel like a you know 2 or something in the beginning and it's like okay then we were like embodying the 2. It's like, oh, it feels like this, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, okay, now embody who you want to be, that 10. And then it's like, oh, all of a sudden we were embodying being 10. And then all of a sudden, like all of these thoughts came into our brain of like how a 10 would think and like all the 10 beliefs. And then looking at our 2 self from our 10 self and giving recommendations and just realizing that we are already a 10 and that really our true self is just like this person that's believing all of these fears and limiting beliefs and it's just like a cloud over them but it's just like it's not real it's so like my 10 self just wants to like clear away the clouds it's like wake up that's just like nonsense so it was a huge shift rather than like rather than struggling from 2 to 10 it's like oh how do I get there okay I got to work on this belief I got to work on this belief it's like no go to 10 and then just like realize this is all bullshit right and then it's like okay it's I guess it's yeah it takes away the struggle bus effect of like trying to get where you want to go it's like you like finding the beliefs that you already are already that person.
Yeah. 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 I know exactly the embodiment tool. I love that
Yeah.
tool. Such a
Yeah.
great one. Yeah. There was a lot. I love every time I use that tool. There are so many, like, even
Like,
like, not
yeah.
even just, when I used to use it before I was focusing, on helping coaches, and I would just use it in my sessions with like anxiety or anything, emotional eating. It's such a powerful tool. I love that you're taking that away with you. And I know you will use it with your clients.
Oh
And
yeah, for sure.
yeah,
It's perfect for
so
yeah, my
perfect,
clients.
right?
Yeah.
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 For like that reinvention process
Yeah.
100%.
And I've done a lot of that like in the mindset realm, but there is something about the somatic because it's like your brain has to connect to a lot of different in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different like senses, right? So it's like we have to connect to our body. Like we can't just think that we're a different person in our mind. Our body literally won't believe it. But it's like if we remember like presenting in a different way, if we remember like envisioning us walking or whatever in a different way, it's just easier for your brain to wrap itself around and like be convinced that you actually are that person. You've already embodied that rather than just like you've thought that thought before. You've tried to think that thought before and it didn't work.
Yeah, our bodies are so freaking powerful. And I think sometimes, I mean, myself too, we forget it. We
Yeah.
forget how they're part of us. And they're not, I don't believe we're all just a body, but
Yeah.
they are such an amazing tool that
Yeah.
we have to, I believe, integrate into
Yeah.
this work, all work.
Right.
Um, and so, Leah, I'm curious, like, because we originally started one-on-one, and then you joined the group. And were there thoughts going in? I think I've asked this to people before who have transitioned from one-on-one to group, or have done both. Were there thoughts going into group about it?
Yes, I have a lot of thoughts about group. Um, I worry about myself for a few reasons with group. One, it's terrible, but it's like I tend to either feel like less than or better than. And it's usually never like, oh, we're all on the same page. Like, I'll find like if someone's like skyrocketing, I'll be like, oh, I'm such a loser. I've never do anything. Or if like no one's doing anything, like, oh, I already know that. Like I just feel a little above them.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I kind of worry about that or getting kind of lost. Like if it's like too big of a grouping program, I'll just be like, oh, no one really sees me, so it doesn't matter if I
Hmm.
don't do this work. Um, so yes, that's my initial thoughts. Um, but yeah, going into it, I feel like there was definitely like shifts that like still existed, but I think I don't know really what made it different. I guess it's just like seeing like everyone's just at such different stages and like sometimes something, but then if you just like keep your mind open, you realize that there's always something to learn, I guess. Um and and calling like I've called myself out where I'm like, okay, I feel shame because this
Hmm.
person's doing this. And it's just that relief calling out or like saying like I'm having all this drama because I feel like I'm less than um is huge. So you don't like hide in your shame and you don't like progress. And then I feel like with your coaching program, we get attention. It's not like we don't ever get attention. We don't get lost. There's not like so many people where you get lost. We always get coached by you. So that wasn't an issue either. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm always curious because some people come right into group and so they haven't experienced as much one-on-one. And
Mm,
myself, like you, I had experienced a lot of one before I went into group, and I had a lot of similar thoughts going in. And I think they're all normal. And I think thank you for being vulnerable and sharing those. But yeah, it's that belonging. Like, am I gonna belong here? And it will
yeah.
trigger a lot of that from, early childhood when we either felt like we did or didn't belong. And I think as Leah so beautifully just said, it's if this is you, right? If you identify with Leah, with myself, and this is something that you too maybe struggle with or working on, it gives you an opportunity actually to start to clean some of that up, because trust me, it will follow you everywhere. Because if you feel like you don't belong in a container like this, how do you think your clients are going to feel when they come into your space? Because we are mirrors, we project. And I think one of the most important things is that we create safety for our clients. And part of creating safety is helping them feel like they belong wherever they're at, whatever stage they're at. And I think in order to do that, we have to do that work first on ourselves and accepting where we're at every stage. And it can be hard sometimes, right? Because sometimes we're at a stage where we want to move through it a little bit quicker, right? Um, but that's just all part of the journey. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And
Yeah.
it's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we
But
talk
and
about
you
it.
see that it's normal, right? Because you see other people talking about it.
That's right. And we
So
talk about it
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's a real thing.
yeah.
And Leah, if someone's right now thinking about joining, what would be your advice to them?
Um, I guess I mean like join, but like if you have any, I guess, hesitations, I would ask yourself, like, what are you believing or not believing? Like, do you believe that you're not going to get the result? Do you believe that, like, Rachel's not the coach? Do you believe that the product isn't? Like, form the actual question in your head and, like, write it down what the actual question is in your head and, like, continue to question that. Because I find like most of the time it's usually about like the belief in yourself, and like that's exactly why you need coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm not going to say anything else because that is perfectly said. Nothing to add to that. Leah, if someone's listening right now and they're resonating with what you're saying, and maybe they are in this process of reinventing themselves, where do they find you? How do they connect with you?
Yeah. Lifedesignwithleah.com or on Instagram or on Facebook. Same thing. Life Design with
Awesome.
Leah.
Awesome. Yeah. And like I said, I have had the pleasure to work with Leah for almost a year now, and I can tell you, you are in good hands. Really, truly. I don't say that lightly. And if she's speaking to you right now and you're looking for some one-on-one support, I really want to encourage you to get the support. We all deserve it. We all are worthy of it, people. And if you are considering thinking, you know, I want to develop my skills as a coach. I want to be able to stand in that place where I absolutely know I can deliver on my promises. And you believe in the magic of the body, because I always want to be honest with people. We're going to do a lot of stuff with the body too. Then I really want to encourage you to apply to join the February cohort. I would love to have you. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Leah, thank you so much for taking some time out of, I know your very busy day. I am so honored to be in your corner, to continue to be in your corner, and that you took some time out of your day to share your wisdom with everyone in
Yes.
here.
And thank you. And yes, I'm grateful for you too.
All right, everyone. Happy Friday. Go enjoy your Fridays. It's really nasty here in Atlanta today, but wherever you are, go enjoy it.